Hey all, Board Game Rants here, and today I'm going to do kind of my first tutorial video here and it's going to be a solo tutorial on how to play this solo variant for Concordia. And for those of you who know the game, it's not going to be a how-to on how to play Concordia. I'm going to assume that you know how to play it. Excuse me, but this is going to be to a solo variant that was provided on Board Game Geek by Havox, I believe. You can find it on Board Game Geek in the files section, and it's just a great way to get your fix. It's played like a two-player game on the two-player side of the standard board. I think he said he also has tested on Hispania. I don't have none of those other boards. This is just a standard Italia board, the two-player side of the board, and I figured I'd just kind of go through it with you really quick so you can see how quick and easy it is to play this game in the solo variant that's provided by the user Havox. And so this I chose to be the yellow is going to be my AI opponent, and then I'm blue. And you basically, it's so very similar to a two-player game, at least the way I play it. On my side, he is going to be basically rolling a die, and that's going to determine his actions. And there's basically three main actions that he'll be taking. For me, the only thing that changes, well, one thing that changes in this game is you don't have this Perfectus Magnus. This is not used in the solo variant. And then also, in my hand of cards here, if I play the, well, it's right there. If I play the Diplomat card, it says, that's where you use an opponent's face-up card on the discard pile. Well, the AI in this game never uses, for simplicity reasons, and it's awesome, never uses his cards. He will buy cards and he'll add them on top of here to use them for scoring at the end of the game, but there's never a discard pile. So when I play a Diplomat card, you basically use it on yourself. So whatever's on the top of my discard pile, and if I still have Diplomat in my hand, boop, lay it down. And then in this case, I would take the Architect action again. So that's really the main difference that affects my play. And over here, you can see that there's a cat. Oh, hi, cat. Yeah. If you ever need an animal to lay on your paper and crinkle it all up, I highly recommend this cat. Comes in handy. And so here is the AI instruction sheet. And it's just, I printed it on two sides. But pretty straightforward stuff there. And I'm kind of going over this with you right now. And live player goes first there under gameplay. So, and then it says the two exceptions. There's the Diplomat and there's no prefect. And so then, right next to my thumb there, the AI uses die rolls to determine action. So you can use, there's like a red and a blue here. You can use 2d6. He recommends, and I recommend too, if you've got a d12, just use a d12. It's just easier. But there are the three actions that I mentioned. There's a build house action, which you would take if you roll a 2 to 5 when you're rolling 2d6, or a 1 to 4 if you're just rolling a d12. On the back side, there's a take good action, and that you'd get on a range of 6 to 8 if you're rolling 2d6, 8 to 12 if you're rolling d12. And then lastly, there's a buy cards action, and that occurs if you roll 9 to 12 on your 2d6, or if you roll 5 to 7 on your d12. And then the game ends per the normal rules when someone has either all houses built or all cards purchased. You basically, the other person gets another turn, and it has a little thing. It says, if the live player, me, triggers the game end, then the AI gets to either buy a card, replace a house, or take one silk, and then the game's over and you score it. This is not a beat your high score. This is a beat the AI. And so so let me give you a couple examples here, and I'll put these rules up there just because sometimes you need to refer to them. If you can't take this very straightforward action of building a house, then you kind of go down this little list of checks and balances here. If there's more than one empty city, etc. Then it's very important. Coffee is very important in explaining rules, keeping the throat dry or wet. So let's say I take my turn. I take my turn very much like normal. And then I'm done. AI's turn. Boom. We'll grab this die. Skadoosh. There is a 4. So on a 4, he gets to build a house action. How do I know that? Because right here it says 1 of 4, build a house action. So when he's building a house, he gets to, yeah, I'm going to set this on you, cat. You like that? Oh, you don't like that? Oh, is that annoying? Oh, that's too bad. So on a 1 to 4, we get to build a house. So what he does is he looks here and then he realizes that the fool who set this up, forgot to put a silk there. Okay, boom. All right, so the silk is now here, and when he builds a house, he takes the most expensive good that he has, in this case silk, looks on the board, and he looks for an empty spot where he can build a house. And there's 1, 2, 3 spots. Then he looks to find out if there's more than 1, which there are, then he looks in the closest spot that he doesn't have a house in the region. So in this case, I believe that would be Corsica. So he spends his good. He doesn't build houses like we do. It's very simplified. So he just takes the good, puts it down there, drops a house on. Boom. That's his turn. And then I believe my cat did drop my... You are really... Oh my gosh. Are you... I'll get to you later. So now it's my turn. I would take my turn again, like normal. Back over to him. He rolls the die. Let's see what he gets. He got an 8. So on an 8, again, you can always just refer to this. It's pretty quick and easy. But on an 8, it says up on the top there, take good action. So how that works, very simple. You just roll it again, and you use the number to pick what type of good. So he rolled a 12, so he gets a silk. So he basically gets that silk right back. And that's how he'll kind of be bringing in goods and then spending them to buy houses. Then the other action he can take, so let's say, ta-da, I take my turn again, and he rolls, and let's say he gets not a 3, but a 6. Because on a 6, that is buy cards action, on a 5 to 7. So what he does there now is, this sometimes takes a little bit of thought. He looks at his goods. Then you're going to go up here, and he's going to buy actually from right to left. And he's going to try to get 2 cards. And he's going to try to again, take the most expensive cards first. But if he can possibly get 2 cards, he might pass up on a card to buy a little bit cheaper one, just so he can afford a second one. So in this case, he's got silk. He got 1 silk. So of course, this card is out. This one's a possibility. He does have silk. He does have wine. And then the cheapest good would be brick there to fill that out. Now on this one though, he doesn't have any more silk. So that automatically kind of, so he goes down here and he looks and does he have food? Yes, he does have food. And then the next, and then cheapest good, again, we've got food and tools. So he's going to use his food. And that is how he would buy his cards in this case. So these all would get discarded. He takes this card and he's just going to put them right on top of his deck. And grab this other one. Boop. And then these goods get tossed in the supply. So now he's down to just 1 tool. And that's how he's going to basically get cards. And these, of course, are going to be used to score him just like normal at the end of the game. And some differences here, like if you roll to build a house. First he's going to look at his goods, and in this case his highest good is this tool. So then he goes out on the board and he looks to see, now there's a bunch of tool spots that he can build a house. So he's going to go through that parameter of closest to his colonists, and then he branches out from there, and he'd spend the good to build that house. In this case, it'd probably be that one that's closest. Some more points here. He never moves his colonists, so that's very easy. I would be moving just like normal. My guys are going to end up out there, but his colonists never move. And if he ever gets to a point where he's trying to build a house action and there's no places to build because he already has houses on all of them, then he eventually it's like, okay, if you can't build a house, you just roll for goods. So then you'd roll for a good, and you see what good he gets. On a 1 to 4, he gets a brick. But when he's doing it as a side action, because he couldn't perform the normal action, he gets a bonus good. So he'd get 2 brick in this case, if he couldn't build a house. Let's say he rolled a different number, rolled a 12. That would be a silk. He would get a silk and the next lower good. So he'd actually get a silk and a wine token if he couldn't build a house. There's other little side actions too as well. If he was trying to take a good action and his warehouse was full, well, then he gets to actually place one of his colonists here out on the board. And that, of course, is going to score him points for certain cards. So that's how he puts these guys out on the board. The other way he puts colonists out on the board, and again, they never move. You just kind of set them out there, and there they stay. Is if I use the prefect card. If I use the prefect card to get goods, well, nothing happens. But if I ever use the prefect card for its bottom action to reactivate all these bonus tiles, so and get the money, then he gets to, if he has a colonist on a board, he gets to put it out there. And so, and eventually if he has no colonists, well, of course he doesn't put any more colonists out there, but he's going to be scoring a lot of points for getting all those colonists out there. So, because on the notes that I read from original, the prefect was able to be abused, and this is how that kind of stopped that. So that's pretty much it. You know, there's a few, you know, on the buy cards action, it says if the AI can't afford, then he rolls and takes goods, much like I just described. He rolls the die, takes the good, and then takes the next less value good as well, the lower value. And if you can't afford to buy cards and the warehouse is full, it's pretty unlikely. You just build a house on the highest value city per the build house action. So there's, again, if you can't take the main action, there's a couple little subsets you can do. That gets you through the game pretty quick. And then you score it just about like normal. I think it is like normal. And you're good to go. So that's how you play the solo variant of Concordia. Or one of them. I think there's another one too, but this seems to be by far the most known. I think it was just out first. I'm not sure. But again, on Board Game Geek, Havox is the username. You can find this in the files section. Try it out. And I may do a run through on this just to show you a few rounds officially. And I'm losing my voice for whatever reason. So I'm going to check out. For now, I'm Board Game Rants BGR. Thanks for watching.